You know what it is, and welcome to another episode of Keen Young Minds, where we get into the mind of the entertainer. And I'm here with the one and only Dami Orimogunje.
I butchered your name there.
You did, actually. You did.
That's the correct
When I pronounced Dami Orimogunje.
Wow. I don't try, Sha. It's only my...
I give it to you.
Yeah, thanks. It's only my second week in Lagos, as in like staying here. Obviously, I've been to Lagos before, but I've never stayed on the island,
Yeah.
you know. And so, but my first week was just crazy. It was AMVCA, where of course you picked up your award. So congrats to you. Oh my gosh! So now you're an award-winning filmmaker, you know, and award-winning director.
Yes.
Many facets to you, but we'll get into that. And just being here, my second week in Lagos, you know, I've been watching Nollywood from afar as an actor from London, and being here, I actually wanted to come and do a documentary / podcast on the mind of the entertainers, getting into the mental health of entertainment. And coincidentally, it just happened to be Mental Health Month, you know? Yeah, here in Nigeria. So it was just like, okay, now I have to go for it. Right. And we've got an open forum here to bring someone like yourself because, you know, you are a deep guy. You are a very deep guy. And what you do is special because you're able to keep your identity within this loud noise of Nollywood, which is about sunglasses, you know, in indoors, fat chains, and fancy cars that you can't afford. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But you come with something. You come with a truth. You know, where did you find this truth as a filmmaker?
I feel like, you know, every storyteller, every filmmaker has objectives.
Yeah.
You know, you come into the industry and then you set your own truth. How do you want to make your own films? And most times it's based off your, you know, of you growing up. And for me, I think I grew up in a family that is very authentic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe not deep in that history, but quite authentic about what they do.
Yeah.
You know, so when I chose this field, you know, to tell stories, one of the interesting things for me was telling the truth, telling stories of people that are relatable. You know, that's like what excites me about filmmaking, about storytelling. So I can't do anything else. You know, it's like this is the reason why I'm here, and then I have to stick to it.
You know, there's a famous quote. It's Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
And he says, the truth is incontrovertible.
Yes.
Malice may attack it. Ignorance may deride it. But in the end, there it is. You know, and as a filmmaker,
yes,
because you share that truth, it sets you a bar above the rest. You know, I mean, that film, For Maria, you know, it's on Netflix now.
Yes.
We're going to get into that. But before we get into For Maria, what was the reception of your earlier work, like your first film? What was the reception to that?
I think the reception to my former works has been the reception to For Maria, but on a lower scale.
Yeah.
So it's people looking at this guy and they're like, what's this guy that is doing? Because I love controversial stories. I love social issues that people do not talk about, that you don't see in Hollywood. You know, my last shot was called Losing My Religion.
Okay.
It's a film about religion fanaticism. I mean, you wouldn't expect people to actually get deep into, you know, talking about issues like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm an artist for a particular reason, like I said before, you know, and it's basically to tell people's stories, relatable stories to you know, to impart in people's lives without actually holding a mic and then screaming the entire street. I can tell it through a medium, which is film. You know, so it's been crazy. It's look at this art house director guy, you know, and then finally making For Maria, and then it's breaking through in the you know, in the populace, you know, beyond just the art house space in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, For Maria it almost reminds me of those French films.
Right.
You know, it's very film noir.
Yes.
Yeah, very. Did you grow up influenced by film noir?
Funnily, I grew up watching martial arts, action films, Jet Li and the rest. Yeah, but I think while journeying through my path as a filmmaker, at the point I got introduced to foreign language film, watching films from Asia cinema, watching French New Wave, watching it was a lot of inspiration and a lot of insight into you can make films beyond how we make films in Nigeria.
Okay.
Because I feel like most of the films we earlier Nollywood make, it's almost like theater staged. So I don't want to fall under the umbrella of the conventional.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make something different. And at the same time, I got introduced to forest cinema, which is about less is more.
Yeah.
And then not about the glamour. So I mean, it was just like a perfect fit at that moment.
Yeah. But the shots in that film, I've never seen those types of sequences before. I don't want to give too much away, but
Right.
some of those sequences in the bathroom,
Yes.
and the way the camera moves so slowly and things like that. I mean, it's really, really captivating. It's almost too perfect. And how do you find mentally, because this is one of the frustrations, how do you find it mentally to, strive for all of this perfection and work? How does that mentally affect your day-to-day life? Because I've seen directors have a lot of frustration. They get very they really get emotionally amped up, if that's the right word. They become nasty people.
Right.
Because this strive for perfection,
Right.
it kind of affects their personal life and their circles. I mean, you're like, when I try and get hold of you, it's difficult, Sean. Because even today, like people calling you and you're talking about, I don't know what you're talking, but you're talking about stuff, and like that strive for, that drive for perfection. How does that mentally affect your day to day and your relationships?
I think it's crazy, you asking me this, because I feel like me outside film life, I'm this serious guy, playful guy.
Okay.
Probably not so serious. But when I get on set, I'm about to make a story about a film, then my commitment and my 100% perfection, if you say call it, comes to be.
So you're able to like switch hats.
I think so. I think I have like, different multiple personalities.
Because
I mean,
go on. Yeah.
I'm not going to say much about it. I'm sure I know I'm great, but yeah.
Now, I like the way you're able to, be a chameleon.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right.
But what happens is that our strive to be whatever in our careers can actually affect our personal lives.
Yes. Yes.
They say health, wealth, and relationships. Sometimes one is off balance. I've been there before.
Right.
Where you kind of like you're going for something so much, and then did you ever have that where you kind of overindulge in your work and mentally you get burned out?
I think it happens to me on every project I do. Wow. Because whenever I go on a project, I give it my all. I give it everything I have. So if I'm dealing on a story that is probably dealing with mental illness, like from Maria talks about postpartum depression.
Of course.
I mean, I'm not a woman, I've not been through it before. Well, I had to immerse myself in that process so I could see where she's coming from. So I could direct the character in the most honest way. So it was a lot of assignment, a lot of research, a lot of deeping myself into the reality of this character and this situation. So most times when I go to project, because I like I said, I love challenging projects. So I'll most likely go into projects that have crazy people, crazy mind. I basically just immerse myself in projects. So sometimes it probably not exactly, but it probably just gravitates into my life as a person. But I think filmmaking is my life. I mean, so I'm good with it.
That key word, immerse.
Yes.
You told me once that lead character before Maria.
Yes.
She immersed herself so much.
Yeah.
She needed to get therapy.
Yes.
What happened there?
So after writing the script, I said to her, "This is a script, and I think you'll be perfect for it." She read it, and I said to her, "You have to give it everything."
Yes.
I'm talking about emotionally, physically, mentally. You have to give it everything. And everything means that you have to gain some weight. It means that you have to, be there. And she told me, she was like, "Oh, I'm not a method actor. So I'm just going to come on set." And I'm like, whatever. But by the time I started working, holding each other's hands and then walking through the process, I realized that she was giving more than she thought she would have given. She was giving so much because she was connected so much with the character and with the situation of the film. So we got on set, and then it's almost like DDL is on the set. It's almost like Daddy Lewis is on the set. Because she's just in her zone, and she's not smiling, not laughing. She's probably crying. But then again, everyone gets it, because for you to give a terrific performance as that, you have to give it everything.
Yeah. I've been there before,
Right.
where in a stage play where I went through the emotions of this character, and by the end I needed to just pray to lift off that energy. What happened with her? She needed therapy. What happened? Because she had to go see a therapist for a month, 2 months. What happened?
I think she healed on her own.
Okay.
But basically, after the shoot, she basically was gone, mentally, because she was still so fixated in the character or the emotion. Because sometimes you have a scene and she cries. Most of the scenes you see her cry in the film, she probably cries for like the next 3 minutes after, because she's so engrossed. So I think it takes a little bit of weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, months, just to
warm down.
exactly and get out of that this character. I mean, it's actors have their processes, but I just feel like that worked perfectly for her. I mean, not because I'm the filmmaker, but I feel like if I wasn't the filmmaker, I would still applaud that performance for the role. It was beautiful.
It was incredibly beautiful.
Yes.
And before you go, tell us about the experience working with Ramsey Noah. Because, my gosh, like the rattlesnake, Ahana, the rattlesnake.
Yeah.
It is a piece of art.
Yeah.
It is a piece of, even though it's an action film,
Right.
it is an artistic action film. Right. So it's rightly so. You was on that, wasn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's rightly so that you was involved.
Yes.
Tell us about the experience of working with Ramsey. How was that for you?
So funny thing is, I've heard so many things about Ramsey. He's a guy. His mind works like a clock.
Yeah.
And then after they commissioned me to direct the film, and then I walked into his house, and it was like, so I you're a very dark guy. And we started talking, and then at the end of the conversation, we realized that we're actually like on the same line, on the spectrum of, going to the end.
Yeah.
Like reaching to the end in terms of achieving what you have to achieve artistically. So it was beautiful. I think he's one of the most beautiful directors in the country because he's quite intelligent.
Yes,
and he knows exactly what he wants. I think that is the beauty of being a director. I mean, that's for some of the virtues I possess myself. So we work. It was kind of like a synergy. It was EP on the project, and it was beautiful. I mean, we talked about the project. We vibed. I mean, they just thought for Maria was perfect in terms of being dark, and the film is coming out soon. So
wow,
go
into the end. Tell us before you go. What is this end? What is this end of creativity? What is this end of art?
Truthfully, the end is limitless.
Yeah.
Like it's you just finding and finding and finding, and the truth matter is you eat gold. When you eat gold, that is the end. So I'm talking about gold in terms of performance, in terms of what you're creating, the vision, it's crazy making films in Nigeria,
I can imagine.
Crazy making films.
Yeah.
It's times 3 crazy.
Times
10, times 100 making films in Nigeria. So it takes everything.
Yeah.
It takes you going to the last end you can get to, just to get that magic out.
Wow, there we have it. A director, an award-winning director, AMVCA. Not small money, yo. Big money. This is big money, yo. Taking us to the end. And as we're at the end, tell us, where can we find you?
On social media, Dami Orimogunje, my full name. On Twitter, Instagram. Yeah.
Amazing. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. Another great episode of Keen Young Minds. Let's change the world together. Peace.
You know what it is. It's your boy at Obionna, aka Yonna. Handles at Obionna, OBIYONNA. We've just wrapped on a great show, Keen Young Minds. It's going to be incredible. We're starting with the minds and then we're changing the world. So, and you know what? If you enjoyed the show, like and subscribe. It's going to be the beginning of a revolution. So stay tuned for more and reach out. Let's connect, man. Let's get into it.